Well guys, I just realized we kept promising that we were going to do a van tour. I'll give you guys just a real sort of brief rundown of the van, what we've done, what we would never do again. We'll sort of go through it stage by stage, but I want to show you what's possible with a small budget and a bit of hard work.
Plywood smell in the morning, sawdust on my jeans, a mattress on the floor, and a map full of seams. You hand me the drill, I hand you the keys. We're building a home that can roll with the breeze. Pack it up slow, tie it down tight. Long way ahead, but it feels right. Roll on, roll on. Back roads call my name. Roll on, roll on. Every town's the same.
Alright, well this is our little sort of humble kitchen area. We're obviously sink. We went for the super budget. Underneath, one grey water, our actual water, just a little 12-volt pump that I hooked up, which was super easy. Cost us absolutely bugger all. I would say the total cost of that little setup there would be sub $100, and that gets us water. So we have a little kill switch on the side that you flick just in case somebody stuffs up, and then yeah, it's not going to run because it's not plugged in. But anyway, so that's the water system. Super simple, probably something we want to upgrade in the future. I was thinking of a tank underneath the bed there somewhere at the back that we can have plumb straight to it. But yeah, look, it's expensive and it's really hard to find something that's going to fit our parameters. Anyway, put a couple of overhead cupboards. Now the overhead cupboards we've stuck all along the top, and for storage, absolutely top notch. I made these myself. They're pretty rough and ready, but hey, they do everything we need. So we got our two little pantry ones that are here, and everything else that doesn't fit in there goes in little cupboard down the bottom here. So there's all our cooking kit and just, you know, some storage. What I would recommend, it's awesome having those little pull-out cupboards. Oh, sorry, pull-out containers. It just makes things easier, you know. And I don't have a great back, so anything that stops me from having to bend over and shuffle around for ages is a big plus. I guess going along the top, and we got, you know, random toiletries and crap in there, and some electrical stuff. All our entertainment things normally go in here, and a heated blanket for Lisa because she struggles in the cold. And then yeah, these other two are just closed cupboards. They're probably a mess, so I won't go into them. But anyway, so that's pretty much our storage on the inside and the kitchen side sorted out. Yeah, look, I think these cupboards would have cost me just in timber alone maybe $200, maybe $250 or something. They're a pretty simple little frame. It's just a little frame that goes around and bolts to the back of the van, and just some couple of hinges, and these little clicky things I think were from Kamek, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, they work great. So you close it, click them, it's locked, click them, open. Super simple, and they were like $5 each, so they're an absolute ripper. They were really good. A lot better than this crap that we had to do here for these cupboards, because we found out after we were driving around for a while, things would rattle loose, you know, and like, yeah, that's just our cutlery / miscellaneous drawer. Who doesn't have a miscellaneous drawer in their house? And we need one in the van, so it's like, hey Lisa, I don't know where this is going, bang, in the drawer it goes. So anyway, that's the kitchen area. Wanted to show you guys is basically our seating and our fridge as well. So I bought this little swivel table, I guess you would call it. Just a super simple little like 3 swivel mechanism that bolted to the side, and it's grouse because it can go like that. So when there's the two of us sitting here, we can have it like this. So I'm sitting on one side, Lisa will be on the other. We can have our dinner, we can play some games, you know, have a chat about things, whatever, go through catalogs. If I want to do my video editing and sit down solo, I swing it around like this, and there you go. I've got myself a working desk. So laptop slaps on here, and there is our TV mount. We left the telly at home because we don't really watch that much when we're on the road. If we're doing a big trip, we definitely don't watch much. But anyway, that is really good because I can have my laptop sitting here and I can have the TV set up as a second screen, so I can actually push my edits straight to the TV so I can watch what they're going to look like on a normal telly, which it's a big thumbs up for anyone that does their own editing and stuff. You know, it's a big learning process, but it does help out. And there's our the inspiration. You know, some days we'll just cruise around and go, hey, where stupid could we go? Well, because we're not going to go on the easy roads, let's be honest. So that's that, and our fridge sits just here and it doubles. So everything in van life, make it have a double purpose, guys. Honestly, it doubles as a seat, and it's just a little lift up fridge. So, you know, clicks off. Everyone's seen these, they've been around forever. So yeah, bang, easy peasy. And yeah, and an additional seat. This fridge has been running for about 5 years. It was I think it's called an Evercool brand or something like that, and I'd have to give them a big thumbs up because honestly it's been running for, I don't know how many hours I could say it's been running for, but say 5 years, about, you know, a week every month, and not a problem. Doesn't ice up, doesn't do anything. And yeah, here's our bed. Now the part that might be pretty boring to some of you ladies, but the guys will probably enjoy, is my electricals and how we've set that up. And I went pretty budget on it. I would say our total cost, it was the most expensive thing in the van, besides the van itself, and the suspension and everything was knackered. I'll go into that afterwards, but about 5 grand on the total setup. That's given us 200 amp hours of lithium. I did go for cheap King's batteries. Hey, look, they've been working okay for now. It's definitely something we'll look into changing in the future, especially now as lithium prices are going down. But anyway, battery box, double purpose again, right? Remember, double purpose. All right, so that's our battery box. It's looking a little bit dirty and dusty, but there you've got our 200 amp hours of lithium. Geez, that red dust has got everywhere. That's our DC to DC charger, and I'll do a little bit on that too, just really quickly. So when we went for that Renogy DC, it had really good reviews, but what I didn't know is it doesn't actually have a cutoff switch. So what happened the first trip we drove out to Harkwa Hills, I think it was, parked up the van, all good, yep, everything's been working great, batteries are fully charged. Went to bed, got up in the morning, van wouldn't start. So it had been trickle draining the starter battery all night. So to bypass that, and it's a little trick and it's pretty cheap that you guys can do, is I bought just a cheap smart battery isolator from King's, slapped that in the front. So what that does is it's like a voltage sensitive relay, I think they're called. We're getting technical here, guys. And anyway, that'll just basically cut off once it reaches a certain voltage, so the starter battery won't be drained anymore. That has saved our bacon. So anyway, there's the DC to DC. That's my inverter. I always made sure I fused everything. There's our little Anderson plug, and I've got a foldable blanket that I just run out from outside, pop it in there, and that gets us charging. There's our little inverter, real cheap and nasty inverter, but look, it's enough to run the laptop and the Starlink. So yeah, it does what it needs to do. Just some more fuses and a kill switch for the inverter, little bus bars and things like that. So anyway, that's pretty much the battery system there. And the lighting, I just put a little switch here just as you enter the van, and that does all our lights up the top. And they were as cheap as anything. I think they were off eBay and they were 30 bucks, 40 bucks, something like that, which was an absolute bargain. And I do have another little sort of switch around the side there with 2 cigarette lighter slots as well, that just sort of, you know, for plugging in other auxiliary 12-volt devices. Another thing I'll quickly just show you is on the sides of the bed, I built these little shelves, which are grouse for placing things and nothing can fall down. And I put in little double USB chargers on either side. Those are awesome. We basically charge everything from there. Our phones, I charge the drone up, I charge up the GoPro batteries, all that sort of stuff. So same thing on the other side. Sorry, it's still a bit of a mess, guys. We only just got back and tried to clean up. The other thing we did was we cut out the slots for the windows. That was an absolute pain in my bum. but it worked. These windows were grouse. They were, I think, $250 each, something like that. They were either $199 or $249, something. Anyway, really cheap. If I can find links for all these things too, guys, I'll put them up in the video as I'm yapping away. And you know, I mean, look, I built this a couple years ago, so prices and things have probably changed. Access to things has probably changed, but there'll be similar, if not better, if not cheaper products at the time. Now, as far as the other man section, the garage. So most of our storage sits in the back here. I bought these King's drawers, which are grouse. I basically have all my tools in there. Everything slides out. I know it looks like a mess. You show me a bloke with a clean garage, there's got to be something wrong with him. Anyway, that's all our stuff in there. So that's basically my tools. And over here, we've just got our cooker, some recovery gear, and any sort of maintenance items that I needed for the van that I can get to, just oils and things like that. Spare water, because yeah, the water situation, right? We only have the 20 litre at the front, which is also 20 litres of grey water. That doesn't give us much, right? Like the 20 litres, if we really stretch it, 2 days, maybe 3. But yeah, so I have an extra 20 and another 10 here. So we have 50 litres of water all up, which we travel fast. We don't sit around in spots very often. If we did, I'd probably get a little bit more water storage, but it is what it is. All right, so the other stuff that I've got my little Weber. Unfortunately, we have to put our spare tire under the bed because this used to be a cargo van. I'm going to try to find a photo and put it up for you guys, but it had a stupid lift on the back because they used it for transporting like commercial laundry. So they have all these brackets and things under there, which means I can't put the wheel underneath the van, which sucks. But anyway, back to saving my back, right? So I tried to double purpose everything. So the fridge slide we don't need, right? But it's jammed. Of course it's jammed. Why wouldn't it be jammed? There we go. Everything's full of dust. So this slides out. The Weber sits at the back, but this, for me, is a perfect workbench. So if I need to do something, you can see it's pretty dirty because I service the chainsaw, etc. on here. But this works really well as a workbench. It means I'm not bending over. It means if I can't be bothered getting the table out and all the chairs and everything, which is sort of buried here on the side, I can always just pop on here and use that, which is grouse. So, you know, just little things like that that you sort of learn over time that you can, you know, double use or work out additional sort of uses for. And yeah, that's about it. Our foldable blanket, which next time we're on the road, I'll do a bit of a review on that. That thing's been awesome. It was a hardcore brand. I'll throw the link up for it here. I think it was on special for 250 bucks at the moment. It's super cheap. This was our first trip using it, and that actually, it's a 200 watt blanket. It pumped out, I don't know my numbers right now, but it gave us more power than this massive 200 watt Renogy one that I used to see, not Renogy, Aldi brand, Adventure Ridge, something like that. We love our Aldi. Yeah, 200 watt massive solid panel one, and it was a pain in the ass to carry. We have to have it on the bed. Every time we got covered in dust, crap would go everywhere. So anyway, foldable solar, big thumbs up. But yeah, that's about it. I just keep a couple of my other toys in here, the metal detectors, and you know, we do have a little fire pit and stuff that we take. Oh, and another little thing to do with the power is I stuck these little switches here, so when you're in bed you've got these little lights. So that's pretty cool, you know, a little reading light, just something if you know, just need to check out what's going on with the doggo, or yeah, grab a drink or whatever, you can just whack them on without waking up everybody in the van. Yeah, driving gear, some recovery gear we have. I carry Max Tracks. I carry a big snatch strap, and I've got one of those little sort of shackles. And I don't know if all sprinters have this or just ours, but we had these little, see that anchor point just there? So there's one on the back and there's also one on the front of the van, which definitely helps us out when, or if we get stuck and we need a tow. All the bugs are still there, guys, so yeah. I know, and I've gone through the car wash today. I gave it a bit of a scrub and I'm feeling knackered and it just will not come off. So if anybody has suggestions for some bug equipment, please let us know. Anyway, the other stuff that we did was we had the suspension replaced. The suspension in this van, so we bought the van for $5 grand, it took us another 5 grand to get it on the road. It mechanically wasn't bad. Like, the gearbox was shoddy. We got a replacement gearbox put in for $1,000. It's a manual, and $1,000 is an absolute bargain. So I'll have a chat to the mechanic that did it for us, and if he doesn't mind, I'll give him a bit of a plug next time. And you know, if you're in Vic, you could probably use him. It wasn't Evan, but Evan was good, and Evan knows him. Anyway, so yeah, so the suspension got replaced. So it took us 10, maybe 11 grand to get it on the road, and then I've probably spent another 10 total fitting it out. So we're talking about $20,000, but this thing has got us everywhere. Just the cheapo tires that we put on there. We went a little bit higher on the size, 225 70 15s, so they're just a commercial tire, and honestly it has got us everywhere we need it to go. But I will be changing over to all terrains. I just think that little bit of extra grip, especially when it starts getting muddy and rutted, will probably save our bacons in some situations. We stuck a little awning on the side, and I would have to say the brackets, sourcing brackets for these awnings to just sit on the little gutter and not have to have a roof rack and not have to drill into the van body were a nightmare to find. But I found one company. If I can, I'll put a link up for you guys on where I got them from. They were pricey, but these are a grouse little bracket. Like, someone was pretty clever when they designed those. And look, we've been on some corrugations and a lot of crap, and they have been perfect. So yeah, I'd have to say awesome. Really not much else to say. Honestly guys, this is a very standard van. Like, it's not much has changed from when we first bought it, except the suspension was replaced. We got the little bit bigger tire, like wider tires put on it. The gearbox got replaced for us, but like, to get us to spots, nothing really has changed. It's all about, you know, taking your time with it. Try to learn the driving style that these things want. You know, they love momentum. Yeah, in the sand and stuff, they're a little rough. I would say they're very heavy and they just sort of sink in. But yeah, besides that, look, they can get you to really good spots. Don't be silly. Like, sometimes we do push our luck. You know, we definitely push our luck. Not sometimes, a lot of the time. And I think it adds to the adventure, but it's not for everyone. There's some situations we get into where, you know, we end up arguing. I end up on my knees under the van trying to fix something, or something breaks down, or, you know, or we get halfway down a track that looks like we could do it, and then we realize, you know what, we ain't doing this, and then I'm sitting there doing a 75.10 to get out. But look, have fun, enjoy it as much as you can. I just basically wanted this video to show you guys that you don't have to, you know, be loaded to travel and enjoy yourself. You don't need a ton of money. You don't need the best tech, the top-notch, you know, bits of gear. You can do it on a budget. You know, a little bit of know-how. I learnt most of my stuff off YouTube, you know. I mean, you guys inspire us too. Every time I look through these different forums and I look through Facebook groups and stuff, I see these builds that people did, and I think, wow, you know, I mean, everyone's doing it. You know, people are doing it that had no clue, and if they've managed, then I'm sure I can work it out too. So, you know, keep focused on it, guys, and don't forget, our finale is dropping this weekend. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. You'll see whether we make it to the top. It was touch and go. You'll enjoy it. So yeah, drop by, guys, give us a like, subscribe if you can be bothered, and you know, it'll help the channel out. And also, if you guys have some tips, I mean, I'd love to hear them. If you guys have, you know, some things that worked for you, some things that didn't, throw it down in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Just a last little disclaimer. These walls, absolute pain in my ass. So I worked really hard to get them up, and they're made for the ground. The ground ones, yeah, no, not bad. They turned out pretty good. These ones on the wall were absolutely fantastic until we had a day when it hit 40 degrees. Apparently the glue on these doesn't like to stick in 40 degrees plus. So I opened up the door to the van, and every single one of these panels, bar maybe 5, was dropped off on the ground. I tried to replace the glue. I tried to use different glues. I tried to clean them up. Just couldn't do it. So you know what? I got angry in the end. The old trusty drill. Just to get us through for now, but you know, it's something I'll replace eventually. It's just one of those things, guys. Anyway, see you on the road. Look after yourselves. I forgot to show the sleeping quarters for the doggo. So this is where he sleeps here. There's plenty of room. He's got his mattress, he sleeps there. We're up here. He's always jumping up. He's always trying to jump up on our bed. Anyway, so that's Zen's little sleeping area. And this is where he hangs out while we're driving. So there's our cockpit. And he's laying down there. He's tethered on this lead. And yeah, somewhere he lays between us. It keeps him more comfortable, and you know, we can sort of cruise along and know that he's safe there. So, if you travel with dogs too, I'd like to know where you guys keep them, because ours is an absolute nightmare.